Hello, everyone, and welcome to EduMatch. Follow along with us at bit.ly/tweettalk84, as well as on Twitter with the hashtag EduMatch. Speaking of EduMatch, then did you know that you could be the featured person of the day? If you go to edumatch.org, then just sign up on the form, and it will we will definitely add you to our database and tweet you out whenever you have a match. So definitely looking forward to expanding our family. All right, so tonight we are going to be talking about student choice and engagement. We have a wonderful panel with us. We have our moderator, Irene, who we will come to last. But first, we're going to have everyone else introduce themselves, and then we'll come to Irene, and then Irene will take it away. So let's just start going from my left to my right. So let's start first with Dean.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dean Gainey. I'm an educator in Orlando, Florida. I teach ELA, gifted in technology, and definitely happy to be here talking about authentic learning tonight.
Fantastic. Very glad to have you. All right, next let's go to Desiree.
Hello, everyone. My name is Desiree Alexander. I am the Instructional Technology Supervisor for Caddo Parish Public Schools in Shreveport, Louisiana, and I am the founder and consultant for Educator Alexander Consulting, and I'm very happy to be here again tonight.
And we are very glad to have you. Great. All right, Matt Fred, if we could get you, please.
Hello, I'm Matt Fertali. I'm a tech coach in Washington, D.C., and I'm glad to be here.
And we are glad to have you. All right, next we're going to go to Tiki.
Hi, my name is Tiki Love. I'm a library media specialist in Baltimore County, and it's a wonderful, big, huge pleasure to be here.
And we are very happy to have you. It's your first time, so we definitely welcome you. And we also welcome a first timer of ours, our fantastic moderator, Irene. So Irene, if you could please introduce yourself and then take it away. And you may be muted.
Yes, hi. Very nervous. I'm Irene Del Rosso. I am an educator in New Jersey. And this is my first time, and I'm really nervous. That's it.
No need to be nervous. We're all family here, so definitely thank you so much for joining us. So, so if you want to go ahead and drop your first question, then take it away.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep. You might be muted again.
I did. Okay, here we go. First question is, why is it so important that children have a chance to make decisions about their learning? And the topic is choice and engagement.
I'll go ahead and chime in on that one, Irene. I'll be the first one. I believe that authentic learning or learning choice for students makes learning meaningful for them. So it implies that they're going to actually be motivated to learn it if they had something to do with the fact that it's being learned. And I think that that's probably the best answer I can give you for that one.
I can chime in after Dean. I think exactly what he took, kind of really piggyback off of what he said. Once students actually have a hand in producing what they're going to learn, of course they'll be more willing to learn it. But also we're trying to teach them real world values, and we're trying to teach them how to think and how to make decisions. This is a part of it, because no one's going to tell them once they graduate from high school, especially once they graduate from college, no one's going to kind of be there leading them. And we have to teach them how to make these types of decisions about what to learn, what to get into, and what content they really want, or what they really have to be passionate about. So if we want them to be those type of people that know how to lead as well as follow, we have to give them those options and to do it while they're in school.
Yeah, I think Dean and Desiree really covered it. The only thing I'd add is, like, I've never heard a kid say, "Would you be the boss of me?" Right? Like, it's always like, "You are not the boss of me," right? So, I mean, it's just a choice, freedom. Who doesn't love that?
And if I could chime in real quick, the big thing in regards to choice, a lot of our students don't have that option sometimes in the classes that they take with the teachers. And so by giving them a chance to have that choice, whether it's in the assessments that they're getting or the projects that they're completing, it helps to not only engage them, but like you were saying, it helps to give them an opportunity to be lifelong learners and apply skills that they're learning, soft skills that they're learning in the classroom, outside of the classroom.
All right, great discussion. I see that Fabiana just joined us. Hey, Fabiana.
Hey, how are you? Do you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. If you could please introduce yourself, then that would be great.
Yes, I'm Fabiana Casella from Buenos Aires, Argentina. I teach English here as a foreign language, and I'm very glad to be joining you. I'm sorry, I'm sort of late. I'm 1 hour ahead of you. I thought it was 2, but because you're no longer on this, summertime. Yes, it's just 1 hour.
Great to have you here. Fantastic. All right, so Irene, if you want to drop the next question, that would be great. All right, and you might be muted.
Yes.
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, the next question would be, what technique is foolproof to get students engaged in classroom activities? It's a question where just some ideas of something that you would do to pull them into that mindset where they're the ones who are going to go in and do the activity or the task on their own, because you use something that would help them wheel them in. Good.
I'll chime in on that one again. I have to tell you that I believe that when it comes to what I do in that classroom every day, it's 75% of my job is motivation. And if I can get in their heads, if I can make it sound good to them, I feel like I've accomplished the most of what I need to accomplish, because everything else is going to be that much easier as a result of that motivational piece. I do like to use real world examples and sort of open their minds to possibility. Well, think about what could happen as a result of this. I might connect something to a real world idea. And so it's reinforcing that this is something that really matters to them, because it's something they may have to encounter at a later point in life. So if I can make it real world applicable and at the same time open that door to wonder, imagination, desire, passion, in terms of how they might walk into a job or a career, then I feel like that's going to undergird the actual activity or assignment itself. And in many cases, my experience has been 75% motivation, and yes, they come through after they feel like they're motivated.
I'm going to piggyback on Dean, and with the motivation is also relationships. I don't think anything is foolproof because all of us are different. So I think it's building those relationships and really understanding and knowing your students and knowing what will motivate them is key. So I don't think anything is foolproof, but I think you have to know your people, know your students, know what will motivate them and what will get them, to really buy into the lesson. And I think part of it is the lesson being interactive. I think the lecture style, of course, sometimes you have to lecture, but I think when they can get more hands-on and when they can take their role, because, some of our students are, have different roles and like to play different roles in the lesson. So I think once they can kind of be more interactive and learn where they're comfortable and then learn how they can think outside the box, it helps with them being motivated for the lesson.
And can I add on to what you were just saying? Because the big thing in regards to the idea of foolproofing it, it is a difficult one. And like you were saying, the whole idea of nothing is ever really foolproof. One thing I like to do is get a sense of what the students already know for whatever we're getting ready to cover. So if I can find out which students already have the information under their tool belts, then they can help be, whether it's a guide on the side or a mentor, a mentee, or what have you, to the students and help teach the lesson or certain little parts of it. They have a little bit more ownership if they feel as though they are helping to move along the lessons as well. And then the other thing in regards to hands-on, this year a big thing for me was using project-based learning. So I feel as though that's helped a lot with my students because they've had an opportunity to apply what we discussed in lessons and create something where other students can see what they have been able to accomplish in the lessons themselves.
Yeah, it's funny. Just to build on that, I used to teach at a learning difference school, an LD school, and it was challenging. But the best part about that challenge was you couldn't lecture if you wanted to. The students wouldn't let you, so it sort of forced you to be creative. And I to help myself, I had a little quote wall, and I quote on the wall that said ABC, always be creating, as a reminder to myself that we're always, whether it was writing an article for the newspaper or whatever it was, just doing something. And I don't teach at a learning difference school anymore, but it doesn't. It's still great pedagogy, right? Because it's choice, and there's some element of choice, and you know, you get good results with that.
I think it's my turn, isn't it? Yes. I love that ABC. I will have, in my case, this year, like last year, I'm teaching. Can you all hear me well? Yes, good. I'm teaching 12, 13, 14, and 15 years old. It's first and second year of secondary school. So the youngest ones want to work because they are afraid of, you know, it's like ninth grade. So they are afraid, so they will do anything you tell them to do. The bad thing here is that I'm the, you know, the foreign language teacher. So everything they have to say is in English. So double difficulty because they have to express things they need to say in another language, and it's not, and it's a requirement. We taught you, but I mean, the first thing comes out in Spanish. So that is a barrier. And motivation can be, you know, the affected filter can be like really low because they are like nervous. They are frustrated from the very beginning, and they want to, in a way, pass. You know, they want to be good, and they want to. But that might be a barrier, and so motivation can be there, but can be, you know, kind of restricted. Anyways, when they are in the class, they want to participate. It doesn't really matter. I try to tell them, well, okay, don't worry about your mistakes. He makes mistakes, even I mean. I try to lose everything. They they feel secure, and they gain, you know, more secureness, and let's say they motivate. Try to motivate them. They tend to shy students, and some other classes are kind of more extroverted. So in the foreign language class is different. But what we need to know, yes, buffering, yes. Do you hear me well? Yes? Okay, good. So I have had students that don't want to be lectured, as you said, as Matthew said, and some others. And you need, if you are too creative and you bring things different things every day, they don't want to participate, want to work in the book and that's it. I don't know. I mean, it just depends on the type of group.
All right, fantastic. All right, Irene, do you have the next question for the group, please?
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, here we go. I don't know when I'm a mute or when I'm not. So,
Yes.
okay, question 3.
Mm-hmm.
What options do you provide students to demonstrate their skills and abilities? What are the options?
Well, I'll jump in. One of the things I used to do with my students is, number one, I would have them actually teach a lesson about whatever content we were going over after they have supposedly learned the content. I would have them take a portion of it and actually teach it to the class to see, did they actually know the skills? If you can actually teach something to someone else, you have to know it. So I would have them do that. And then a second thing that I started to get into right before I left the classroom and became a librarian, it was project-based learning. And that was, it was really getting them more from, taking a multiple choice test or anything like that, and really digging into it and saying, okay, now that you've learned it, create something from it. And that was a good skill.
And if I could go along with that, I mentioned earlier too, project-based learning, especially in the library, has been very helpful for getting the students engaged when they're coming with their teachers to do different units. So that's a big thing. But then also, one thing I'm finding for my students, they like to be able to discuss things a little bit more than what they normally are. I don't want to say allowed to, but than what they normally do in the classroom. So just recently we had a Socratic seminar, and we actually had the students create their own questions based on the information that they had just learned. And they really were into that because it was a skill they hadn't had a chance to work on before. And it not only gave them a chance to have a little bit more voice in regards to the questions that they were talking about with their peers, but then also showing what they had learned and applying it, and then connecting it to the real world and other things that are going on currently, whether it's current events or within their communities or what have you. So I thought that was really cool.
Just to get on the PBL train, we've been doing Genius Hour for a while, and we made a lot of big steps this year. In 30 seconds, I'll tell you what I learned this year about Genius Hour. You start small. Usually it's like one teacher in one classroom, and something like a teacher, history, social studies teacher says, pick one world problem and how would you solve it or something, and you that's your project, and you run with that. I think the end goal is something like High Tech High, right? Where the whole afternoon, I think half of their day, I'm not sure, but is and we took like an intermediate step this year. So we have it for an hour. We're High Tech High for 1 hour a week. We have a dedicated, a Genius Hour class, and it's a team of 3 teachers, me, the tech guy, the librarian, and the art teacher for fabrication. And like, there's basically 4 steps for our there's a lot of ways you can do it, but we do topic selection is a huge step. Right? Some kids know what they want to do and half don't, and you need somebody to pull that out of them. There's usually a big research step. We have the librarian to do the big research step. There's like a fabrication, like doing it step, and yeah, and then like a sharing out step. So anyway, I have a video. I have a video about it. I'll put it in the Twitter. So if people are interested.
I'm going to come right behind Matt Fratt, and I'm going to say that Genius Hour has definitely changed things. It does give a different spin on a class. I teach ELA primarily, so it totally gives them a different mindset when it comes to demonstrating or showcasing learning. And I tend to try a lot of different things. So Genius Hour has, like I said, changed things, but there's other avenues that I try to go in as well. And I love the project-based learning idea. I love the turn and talk, stop and jot as a way of demonstrating learning, even in short bursts. Sometimes students will write scripts and act things out. I like incorporating drama as a means of showcasing or demonstrating learning. Sometimes I allow students to have conversations about why they feel a certain way about something, and then they have a semi-debate, structured, of course, semi-debate about things that would demonstrate, okay, why they feel the way they feel with supporting evidence. And I like the whole empowerment piece that comes along with that. And then sometimes I just do multimedia creation, you know, in product that sort of demonstrates. You have to have a certain number of things involved in there. But I try to attack it from many different angles because I think it sort of gets everybody, you know. I think you have these different kinds of learners, and the more that we can give them an opportunity to decide which one might be appropriate, or maybe based on a particular task, certain ones might be appropriate, I think it's going to be better in the long run for all of them. So.
Well, I'm going to jump in. That worried me along these years was that I wanted my students to be in the class, to come to school and to be convinced that they are doing something for themselves. And because of the comments I get here from my son, for example, who's 20, he finished school 2 years ago, and he said that most of the classes were good, or half of the classes were good. Some others, teachers, did not worry about if they liked it or not, if they had inner motivation. And so, well, in a way, he doesn't agree if I make my classes motivating for the rest of my students. And what happens is that yes, I will do. And I said, well, okay, but I need my students to feel comfortable. I need them to use the language, to practice, to be comfortable, you know. And so if I don't bring current issues or world problems, or for example, tomorrow one of the things I'm going to do is digital citizenship. How good digital on Instagram, they are on Snapchat all the time, and how about those pictures they post? So I mean, we need to talk about that. I mean, I'm going to be very careful with whatever we do, but they are going to talk about social networking, and it's going to be their task. So it's their research, and then they are going to talk about it. I'm not going to be teaching anything. All the vocabulary they know from the books, and everything they know in Spanish, they will try to translate it, or they use directly their knowledge in English. And I think that they get engaged more or less, much more, but everything has to go, activity we do has to be related to the book and the syllabus, and things that we do, things that are connected with real life. If not, there is no point in the thing. I think that the reality in things, and that's all.
Absolutely, absolutely. Were there any last thoughts? Go ahead, Irene. I think you might be muted.
This was really enlightening. I got so much information, so many great ideas from those questions. Thank you, everyone. I wrote it all down so I can practice. Thank you for all those great ideas.
Awesome, awesome. And thank you, Irene. Thank you for moderating. Fantastic questions. Thank you to everyone on panel for all of your great insights. Wanted to thank everyone who is tweeting with us, who's watching, who will be watching again later. So the Twitter archive will be available within the next few minutes, and this episode will be available on iTunes hopefully tonight, if not tomorrow. Hold on, I need to mute so I can cough. And that part will be edited out. So, so next week we are going to be talking badging with Noah Geisel. So definitely come back for that. Check that out. That's going to be same bad time, same bad channel. And if you want to subscribe, then please do so at bit.ly/EduMatch podcast. So again, thank you all so much for joining us, and have a wonderful week.